member, Congressman Buddy Carter. Congressman, thanks for joining us tonight. Could you break down the math for us? Because to the American people, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Well, it doesn't. Math is hard. It's tough. And Joe Biden's proven that. He doesn't get it. He is not putting two and two together. This is going to result in the greatest tax increase this country has ever seen if they pass this, what is essentially a $4.3 trillion socialist wish list. It's going to result in higher taxes. It's going to result in more debt. And it's going to result in a socialist wish list. It's going to result in turning our country into a socialist country, and that's exactly what they want. I mean, it's supposed to be an infrastructure bill, but it's anything but an infrastructure bill. It is more a socialist wish list, a progressive priority list is what it is. It is not infrastructure any whatsoever. Even the 1.1 bipartisan infrastructure bill, the House had nothing to do with that. Nancy Pelosi and the House Democrats, they didn't have any input into this. Only the Senate had input into that. And even that bill on its own, which, look, infrastructure is something we should be able to get done. Infrastructure, we all need infrastructure. We all need roads and bridges and airports and seaports and broadband and high-speed internet. All of us need that. It should be a bipartisan issue. But the Democrats had turned it into a socialist wish list. They're only using this $1.1 trillion bipartisan infrastructure bill to get at what they truly want, and that is a socialist at all costs.
Now, here's how it's not free. Someone has to pay for the $3.5 trillion or the $4.5 trillion, whatever the number ends up being. And the way they do it is they raise taxes, they raise revenue, the revenue side. So if they can raise your taxes and my taxes and corporate taxes, that's where they're coming saying it's free. They think it's free to the deficit. It's not. It will end up costing. But Buddy, Congressman, you're bringing up a very important point, something that's going to come to a head later on this week. The progressive wing of the party, the AOCs, and on the Senate side, Bernie Sanders, they want 3.5 tied to the 1.1 trillion. So yes, Republicans are willing to do the 1.1 trillion, not the 3.5. Pelosi's under a gun here. She's painted herself in the corner by catering to the AOC's progressive wing, because they won't give her 1.1. They want all or nothing. How does this play out, sir? I mean, do we shut down government and we get nothing and everyone goes home and tries again next year?
Well, Eric, I don't see a good ending to this, to be quite honest with you. It has to be decoupled, and we have to concentrate on what we should be focusing on: roads and bridges and seaports and airports and high-speed broadband. And I'm even willing, and I think a lot of Republicans are even willing to expand that traditional definition of infrastructure to include possibly drinking water and wastewater, making our electric grid, improvements in that, making it resilient. Those things, yeah, okay, I get it. I understand that. But what they're trying to add in here with all these Green New Deals, with everything that they're rewarding for electric vehicles, which, oh, by the way, are only going to go to those people who have six-figure incomes, that's going to result in higher taxes and more inflation. And this is going to punish the middle class and the higher, lower class, if you will, even more than anyone.
Mm-hmm.
So when you take out all these costly add-ons, these progressive add-ons, what would you like to see in an ideal world? What would be that infrastructure package?
Well, as I said before, it would include roads and bridges and seaports and airports and broadband. I'd like to see 100% broadband. I represent rural South Georgia, and I can tell you we need high-speed internet in rural South Georgia. We need broadband. We need it not only for precision ag, which ag is a big part of our economy, the biggest industry in the state of Georgia. We need it there, but we also need it for telehealth, which has become an integral part of our healthcare system now. All of those things are extremely important in rural areas. And as I said before, I'm even willing to look at other things like drinking water and wastewater. But there are other things that we've got to consider. NEPA, the National Environment Policy Act, it needs to be reformed. It needs to be updated. Those are practical, common sense things that we need to do as well.
You know, Congressman, we got to go, but you're 100% right. The Democrats they're under I don't know how they get out of this, because now Pelosi has to make a decision: leave the progressive wing behind and try and get something passed. And if she doesn't, you run the risk of the Senate Manchin and Kirsten Sinema in Arizona saying, no way, we're not for this. And then Biden's agenda is shot to heck. You know what? So they're end of the day, though, Jen, I gotta remember this. I forgot. They're all politicians, both sides of the aisle. Sorry, sir, both sides of the aisle. And what do politicians love to do? They love to spend our money. Congressman Buddy Carter, I know you want to spend it smartly, but thank you for your time. Appreciate you joining us.
Thank you all.